All right. Hello and welcome. I'm Carol Mitchell, and I'm here with the beautiful Anjanae Slaughter. We are together launching the Institute for Black Justice, which we call the IBJ. We are airing live tonight from the historic Tacoma City Association of Colored Women's Clubs. You can't see it because we have a virtual background that says IBJ. But we want to spend about 15 or 20 minutes telling you a little bit about our new baby. It was born on September 4th, and it has a powerful purpose, and that is the relentless pursuit of equity and justice for all, with Black people as our first priority, right, Anjanae?
Absolutely.
So Anjanae is our program director, and I am the founder of the IBJ. So I want Anjanae to tell you a little bit about how I drug her into this with her beautiful self and what it is she's going to be doing as the program director. She's going to tell you about her, first of all, her background, and then the three specific areas that we're going to be focused on at the IBJ.
Yeah, thank you, Carol.
Take it away.
Thank you. I think we first met at a Pierce County Council meeting where I was testifying. I was testifying in support of the 1% of the behavioral health tax, right? Something that actually didn't pass in Pierce County that could have really helped our people out here, especially outside the city of Tacoma. We've been connected ever since. We've kind of in the back, behind the scenes, really been working on getting this IBJ together. So I'm so excited to be here today to, tell you a little bit about myself and about the Institute. Well, a lot of you guys, you may know me from my experience in real estate. I'm a real estate agent as a profession, but my passion has always been in my community. I mean, ever since I was a young girl, my family has made sure I was active, volunteering. My mother, shout out to her. She instilled that in me at a very young age to give back because it will definitely come back around to us, huh? So
it does.
Absolutely, absolutely.
If you give out, it all comes back to you.
It sure does. And it makes an impact on us as individuals and our community. And that's really what the IBJ is here to do. Right. So I'm so happy to be the program director, to be starting off some of the amazing programs that we have. I'm so excited to share with you guys.
Podcast.
Absolutely. So we are launching the Black Row podcast October 15th, 6 p.m. Yes, on Facebook Live, right here. We'll be launching, and we're going to be having varies of guests coming to share their stories. But specifically, we really wanted to bring a platform for young and more mature voices, yeah, to share their.
One of us is older than the other. I'm not.
That'd be her. That'd be her. No, just kidding.
But we intentionally wanted it that way. Anjanae is this beautiful millennial, 20-something.
24.
And I just had my 61st birthday, and I'm very proud of
would
that.
have never guessed.
But we want to have those two different life experiences, two different perspectives, two different moments in time when we came into being, and bring all of that to bear on judging whether justice is actually happening for Black folks, right?
Absolutely. We're giving the voice back to the people, back to the community, right? We're not relying on a system that has been institutionally racist, right, to continuously give us the verdicts of what guilty or, innocent, right? We are sharing our stories as Black people, in America, right? And we want to hear your stories as well. And so, in addition to our guests sharing their expertise in different, sectors, we're also going to feature what we like to call the Crystal Stare stories. Yes. So you can see our podcast is going to be two-pronged, right? One, we're going to be giving verdicts. The community is giving verdicts on what is happening near and far. We're going to be talking about the Manny Ellises of the world. We're going to be talking about the Breonna Taylor verdicts, right? We're going to be talking about things that are current, but then we also want to bring it back to the community, because you don't have to be a huge story, right? You don't have to be a George Floyd for your story to really matter.
That's right.
So we're going to be using our podcast to highlight local local stories, right? Local experiences. And they don't all have to be negative. We want to hear if our system is it transforming? Are we seeing some reform anywhere? I mean, that progress.
If you have overcome,
Right.
in spite of injustice and
Mhm.
inequality and inequity, you have a story of transformation and overcoming. We want to hear that too.
Absolutely.
Folks who are somewhere on the continuum that you were on,
Hmm.
to be encouraged by what you've been able to get done. And don't
Absolutely.
forget, we're both Huskies. You
We're
forgot.
both Huskies, yes, go dogs.
You're
Yes.
not gonna wear purple and gold on the IBJ podcast, but every now and then
We gotta
we
root
might
for
have to
who.
throw up the dove.
Absolutely. The purple and gold runs in our veins.
Yes.
So you don't have to wear it. It's
It's purple. Sorry about that. I do also want to talk about movement makers because that's a way for the community, especially private employers and public employers, to put their money where their philosophy is or where their mouth is. Everybody right
Absolutely.
now is trying to do something around
Hmm.
creating a more equitable workplace, a more equitable community. We've got all sorts of initiatives underway around divestiture and defunding, all that language. Black Lives Matter, they say. So
Hmm.
become a
So,
movement maker.
exactly. And movement makers are real supporters, right, Carol? They're not someone public or private that's just looking to check a box. We want to make sure the people that are supporting the IBJ are really invested in seeing some real change, really want to impact our community, really want to see families, with resolutions, right? So, with that being said, we are calling out all movement makers,
Yes.
potential movement makers out there in the community, near and far, to support the IBJ and do it in any way, shape, or form, right?
We have to talk about the Black leadership development, especially the social justice leaders. There's a lot
Mhm.
of young people like you who are coming online, partly
Mhm.
because we're in the midst of an epidemic, right? Both a
Right.
pandemic and an epidemic.
Absolutely.
COVID-19 pandemic intersecting with racism as an epidemic,
Mhm.
and all of that sort of stirred together has
Mhm.
actually created this whole new generation of young people, 18 to 35,
Yeah.
who we want those young people to thrive and to
Absolutely.
be able to lead in a much broader, more effective way.
Mhm.
And part of it is we have to just sort of grab them up and stock them and sit them down with us and learn from them and let them learn from us. So talk a little bit about the Black leadership development we're going to do.
Absolutely. So the IBJ, like Carol mentioned, we are gathering up 18 and 35-year-old leaders, right? We're gonna produce. This is gonna be a Black leadership factory, okay? We are gonna be incubate. Absolutely, absolutely. We want to give you the confidence, the organizational skills to really step out into your communities, and take that stance as a leader proudly, unapologetically, right? We want to give you tools to be successful at it as well. Because one thing that we haven't really seen, Carol, in this day and age, right? We don't have a Malcolm X, we don't have an MLK, we don't have a singular individual, right? We have a lot of movements. As a collective, we've come together and we've protested for 30 plus days, right? Marching, but we want to now give you the confidence to use your voice.
Why do we think we have something to offer young leaders? I do want to talk a little bit about the master's program that I completed. My first round of graduate school was law school, and almost 20 years later, I figured out what I really wanted to be when I grew up. And that was a developer and investor into people, and a cultivator of whatever is their best talent, the highest and best use of their life. And so I went back for a master's in organizational systems renewal. The first system I had to master was me, right? The I, and then the we, and then the us. And that's what we want to do, work on the I, so people have great mastery over themselves, and then move them out so that they can lead and master systems that affect the we, and then beyond that, the entire world, right?
Absolutely.
Not just Pierce County. We're
No,
talking about
no.
leaders that will impact the
The
world.
world. Absolutely. So while Carol brings her lived and learned experience, right? I'm bringing the young boys. I'm bringing the representation. Okay, I have been a strong leader in my community since 2012. That was before I graduated high school. I was able to really get some education reform. I know it's 12. I know, but believe it or not, Carol, there are a lot of strong leaders that are younger than me.
I believe it.
Yes.
I saw them emerging over this last summer. Karen Johnson over at Greater Tacoma Community Foundation brought a group of about 15 or 20 young leaders together on a video conference. And I went, wow, we have to do something with those young people.
Exactly. We got to keep them engaged. We got to keep that momentum, that fire, because believe it or not, I mean, I'm sure this is going to be easy to believe. Right now, everything is instant gratification. We all have these things called cell phones, right? And so we can just turn on our phone. We can get an answer in 2 seconds. We don't have to read.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. So we really do want to keep that momentum going. The Black Leadership Forum, we're going to be able again to bring in the young perspective and the more mature perspective, you know, to produce these leaders. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a representation that your voice is powerful. You know, at the age of 24, look at me. I'm a program director because I stepped out of my comfort zone. And I say that with confidence. I'm proud.
And into your purpose.
And into my purpose. Yes, absolutely. And if it wasn't for generations before us to really bring us up, to give us these opportunities, then we wouldn't have the space. So here we are, the IBJ. We are giving the space to young leaders because we truly know that we need.
We do.
We need
each other. I need you to show me how to use
this thing.
Right. But also, I do want to mention the fact that organizations can also take advantage of our support because Black people interact with people in organizations, but sometimes the way those organizations do their work, what they value, what they prioritize, what they expect out of the people they serve, create some disadvantages and some barriers for Black folks. And a lot of it has to do with culture and communication and language, but some of it is set up for intentionally for failure. So what we want to try to do is help organizations see themselves clearly, make visible to them where some of these barriers might exist, where they may have imposed some expectations and some rules that really have nothing to do with whether a person deserves to get a certain benefit or not, right? So we're going to work with the families to keep those public benefits and also private benefits, but then we'll work with public and private organizations to remove barriers to their success. And guess what else we'll do?
What else are we going to do?
Them find talent like you, although they can't have you.
Yeah.
But we'll help them find talent and put systems and processes in place to keep young, talented Black folks employed in really well-paying jobs and to not be intimidated by your skill set, your energy, your passion. Because you know how passionate our people can be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So basically what we're saying is that we're just call us the new interpreters in town, right? We are interpreting because it is another culture. Okay, African Americans, we have culture. The way we communicate is a culture. Okay, and it could be perceived in one way that was not the intent, right? So having support, having advocates to help you through these processes, to help properly communicate, effectively communicate, right? it's just going to get our people to a place that we should have been a while ago.
And we may, not all of the time, but we may actually get involved in
Mhm.
some legislative evaluation. Now, we're not lobbyists.
No,
we're not
lobbyists.
politicians. That's not our niche.
No.
But it's highly likely that if there are pieces of legislation that would impact Black folks,
Mm-hmm.
how about the piece from Melanie Morgan, the legislative act to stop
Discrimination. Right.
We would be talking about that
Oh,
all
yeah.
day on the Black Road
All
podcast.
day, all day. We'll be talking about I can predict that there's going to be a lot more legislation coming this next session with this new election coming up.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to keep our ear to the ground when it comes to new policies, so that we can share it with the community. Our podcast is really going to be just
All the way live is what we would have called it in the
And I-
70s.
all the way live.
What do you call it now?
I don't really know the reference.
Okay, Bootsy Collins, everybody. All the way live. Now you're gonna go have to look that up
I am.
on YouTube.
Right. I'll do that after this segment.
See, every now and then old people can teach young people something too.
Oh, all the time.
You know, I want to stop for just a moment and take 1 minute because today is October 1st when we're recording this, and today Harold Moss was honored. I don't know if we can see this virtually
go
or
closer
not.
to the.
Let's see. Oh, no, but
Uh-oh.
we'll just tell you that his book, Fighting for Dreams That Mattered,
Mhm.
by Harold G. Moss, is available on Amazon, and you really should get it. He passed away September 21st, and today there were services for him. You can probably see those services on TV Tacoma as a special presentation, but I just wanted to take a moment to honor him. He would have been 90, I think, today.
Yeah, and he was active up
Yes.
until the last.
To the
Days.
last day. So our love and compassion goes out to Jeannie Jefferson, his widow, and to his family. We appreciated that they opened up his services for the community today. So why don't we end by telling people how to get in touch and where to
Okay.
find more information